Last time on Square Roots, we stay up past our curfew to check out a meteor, take a giant step forward for kid kind, and tackle the nuanced issue of police brutality as only a JRPG can. We'll miss you, Captain Strong.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Heyo.
John, let's see what's a good one for John. John Carpenter Brandon.
I was looking, and they called him when I left Onet, they called him Chief Strong. I was like, did I get this wrong the whole time? Oh well.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunk at a time.
What classic RPG are we talking about this week?
Well, I'm happy you asked, Matthew, because we're going to be talking about our playthrough of EarthBound, and more specifically, this is part 2.
Ooh.
We're going to
So
be
if you want to hear more,
we're going to be
just
playing
go
from
back.
the departure of Onet to the end of Twoson.
Ooh.
I'd call it the departing of Onet.
Mhm.
Onet itself does
There you
not
go.
depart. It
That's
remains stationary.
So the
Excuse my
departing
phrasing.
from Onet.
Vanessa, have you tried to go back? Are you positive that it's still there?
That's a good point, Matt. No, I have not tried to go back because, you can't go home again.
Sounds like Vanessa is fake news.
Oh,
Vanessa,
no.
Matthew, we have to go back.
Oh.
The end of season 3.
Wasn't that like season 5 or something like that?
Well, I think season 4 was like was that the one where they're all like what happened to them after they got back, and their lives are all crappy.
Right. How many seasons was that total? Just 5?
7, I think.
That's
6 or
what
7.
I thought. So I thought that like Crappy Lives was season 5, maybe?
You might
There's
be right.
no way we'll ever know, so we should just
True.
move on.
Hey,
Yes.
Jim, do you know what they're talking about?
Nope.
No, me neither.
Now ask me if I care about what they're talking about.
Jim, do you care what they were talking about?
Nope.
Oh.
But I appreciate them taking the time to talk about it.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
You're welcome.
You can tell from the paucity of seasons, it was not Supernatural, which is ending next season.
No! My favorite show.
Death after 15 seasons only.
And by favorite show, I mean show that I have seen every episode of, and I get angry each time I watch it. But the last episode I watched, I genuinely and authentically enjoyed with no reservations.
Ooh. Well, that's good.
Maybe
It was a good
one or
one.
2 reservations.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. Had that nostalgia 50s vibe. It was great.
Full disclosure, once again, I have worked on many episodes of Supernatural.
Including the nostalgia 50s vibe one.
Yes.
Good job, John. Good job, everyone.
Yes, it's true, ladies and gentlemen. We've kept it secret this whole time. John is the star of the show Supernatural.
In
John
the 50s
is-
episode, he played the 50s.
He
Yes.
plays both of the brothers, the
Yes.
angel, and the
Uh-huh.
50s.
Mm-hmm.
And the Leonardo DiCaprio on Growing Pains character.
Yeah. He so much looks like Leonardo DiCaprio on Growing Pains.
He does, and he was brought in for the exact same reasons.
Really?
Well, I assume so.
Oh, not because he looked like Leonardo DiCaprio from Growing
No,
Pains.
but like to appeal to the young kids.
It would be
like,
amazing if it
What do
was
we
a
usually
a
do
reference.
before we talk about the video game, Jim?
Should we talk about how we leveled up this past week? That would be cool beans.
I think we should.
Who wants to go first?
I will.
Okay.
So, 2 things. One is another TV show I worked on this past year was a reality show, and one of the ladies, her fitness goal was to go paddle boarding, which is where you stand on a very large like it looks like a surfboard, but it's like you do it over calm lakes and stuff. And it looks super fun. I really, really want to do this. And she couldn't really do it the first time she tried. And then it showed that she was doing these squats on a Bosu ball to get her balance better. And I realized my balance is awful. Like, I can't ride a bike. I need to do this. So I was like, okay. When I was at the gym today after I did my normal workouts, I took out a Bosu ball, which is like half a ball with a flat platform on it. So it's like squishy and hard to balance. You know what I'm talking about, Jim?
I do.
And I took a medicine ball out to do squats like she did. And I was like, okay, I could do these for like 10 minutes just to work on my balance. It turns out, let's just forget about the squat part of it. I spent 10 minutes trying to stand on a Bosu ball.
Oh.
Very poorly. That thing is real hard. Have you ever done that? That's hard.
I bet it is hard.
Oh boy. I'm sure I'll be able to do it eventually, but my balance is real bad. And also, I bought 2 albums this week on iTunes from Mariachi Entertainment System, which is they do video game covers. They are a mariachi band, and they're really fun. Their cover of Mute City theme from F-Zero is great. They have the Final Fantasy IV love theme, which is really fun, and their live Chocobo cover theme there is amazing. It's really, really super fun.
That
Got
sounds neat.
flutes, big guitars, trumpets. So I strongly recommend, if you like video game music and mariachi music, Mariachi Entertainment System. That's my level up. Jim, what did you do?
Boy, I had a big week.
Oh,
So-
you did.
So I went to San Francisco for work, and I was gone all last week. Now, when I arrived at the San Francisco airport, I walked up to my baggage claim. Not a lot of people around, maybe 4 or 5. It was a small flight. And I'm standing there waiting for my bag, and this man walks up next to me who's being escorted by like an airline official attendant person. And they're looking for this guy's bag, and I look over, and it's Keanu Reeves.
No.
What?
Yeah, it's
Whoa.
Keanu,
No.
John Wick himself.
Whoa.
No way.
Yeah,
Ted.
so I thought that I would bother him.
Yes.
So I walked up and I said, "Hey, are you Keanu Reeves?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And then he stuck his hand out, and I shook it, and I said, "Hi, I'm Jim. It's really cool to meet you." And he said, "Thanks, you too." And then he walked
Aw.
back to the bench behind him and sat down because I'm pretty sure he was frustrated because they couldn't find his bags. And then they found his bags and he left.
Aw. Well, he's a big fan of the show, so that makes
He
sense that he
is.
was really
He
happy to
is.
meet you
I made
too.
sure to ask him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was probably like shy because when you meet your heroes, it can be kind of
Yeah,
awkward.
I think he was a little more starstruck than I was.
Well,
Right.
that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
podcasts are a really intimate medium.
Right.
And
yeah.
you're very tall.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
taller than he is. He was probably pretty intimidated,
Yeah.
which is
He was
understandable.
like, this guy's younger than me. He's taller than me. He could definitely beat me up if I didn't have those time-bending bullet powers, which I
Right.
do, but I can't use them in public because people think it was a special effect. His life is very complicated.
Yeah, it was a really, really neat encounter. I'm glad that it happened. Also, I've watched the documentary on Theranos on HBO called The Inventor. I've watched it like 3 times. And it's really good.
Is that's the one about that Vanessa was telling us about the blood thing?
Yeah, so
Yes.
this
I gotta watch that.
this young entrepreneur woman dropped out of Stanford because she said she had invented this revolutionary machine that can test for like 200 diseases with just a little drop of blood. And she kept this facade up for about 11 years. At the peak, her company called Theranos was valued at about just a little less than $10 billion.
Wow.
And her technology never, ever worked.
And she named herself or her company after the villain from Secret of Mana, right?
Actually, they said she explained that the name it's a combination of like therapy and diagnosis or something like that.
Oh.
But yeah, it's just a really crazy thing about how she sold this company to investors, like really powerful investors, like Henry Kissinger, like a bunch of ex-government people.
Ooh. I want to
Yeah,
see him fail.
The war criminal Henry Kissinger, and
Yep.
and like a bunch of other government people, and like Rupert Murdoch for like hundreds of millions of dollars without ever really doing anything.
Huh.
But yeah, and
Vanessa?
then she failed spectacularly when someone, a journalist from the Wall Street Journal, outed her, and it was a big thing, and now she's pending trial for fraud.
Vanessa, when you do your level up later, could you do it in her voice?
Sure
Her low
thing,
voice?
John.
Oh, that
Thank
would
you.
be great. Yeah, she has a really weird, like, faux baritone voice. I like one of I can't remember. I think it was Jezebel did an article on it where they said she's just doing stupid man voice, which is kind of spot on. But anyways, that's it for my level up. Vanessa, why don't you go?
Thanks, John. Thanks, Jim. I've been working really hard on my level up this week. I have invented a system that from one drop of saliva can analyze all of your genetic DNA code just from one little drop. Usually you have to spit into a big... I can't do it. I can't keep doing it.
She did it like for years.
I know. How did
Do
she
you think
do
you ever
it?
just walked into the bathroom and just started talking normally just to be like, this is still what I sound like. This is still what I sound like.
Well, they say in the documentary that she would occasionally slip up if she got like drunk or excited or something like that. Well, in the spirit of podcasts that are more popular than ours that I listen to, I have listened to a podcast that is more popular than ours called In the Dark. In the Dark is a very good podcast. Season 1 is not for Matt. So, Matt, go ahead and plug your little Matt ears. So it is a true crime podcast, but sort of a long-form journalism one. And the first season is about Matt is holding his fingers above his earphones, like on the top, and just poking them closer to his head. He cannot figure out how to reach his ears because he has headphones on.
You just keep getting louder.
Yeah.
It's starting to hurt.
Maybe put your fingers down, Matt, and just think about something happy. Go to your happy place. Okay, Matt is thinking about beer. So the first season is about the abduction of a boy named Jacob Wetterling, I believe, in the 80s. And it really follows not only what happened to him, but how the county responded in law enforcement and a lot of things that went terribly wrong. And the second season is also about things going terribly wrong regarding a gentleman named Curtis Flowers in Mississippi who has been tried for the same crime 6 times and keeps getting mistrials or getting his verdict thrown out because of prosecutorial misconduct. And it looks at the crime and why this prosecutor has gone after this guy so many times. And then they start digging into some of the evidence that the prosecutor has put forth. And the more they dig, the more the whole case falls apart. It's really interesting, really disturbing when you consider that Curtis Flowers has spent almost half his life in prison now for this crime that, by all accounts, seems like he probably didn't commit. So, In the Dark, listen to that. I also caught up on some Riverdale. That's right. Kids' Choice Awards, Drama of the Year, Riverdale. That's
Was
a
it
weird
really?
show. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all have ever watched Riverdale, but it is bonkers bananas. And this
I watched one episode. It was boring.
This particular season is about the dangers of a Dungeons and Dragons type game. They're all playing this tabletop role-playing game that makes them go crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of throwback to like the 1970s when people thought D&D was Satan.
Mhm.
So that was fun. And then tonight, I watched some sumo wrestling on television, and I took lots of pictures of my television screen and sent them to Matt, and he didn't seem to appreciate it.
I didn't, but I didn't say anything.
The guy who won was really happy. He got very emotional. He hurt his little arm and needed help holding his Emperor's Cup.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's how I leveled up. Matt, how did you level up? How did you level up, Matt? I dropped
I
out
bought
of
a game called
college.
Battlefield 5.
What?
Ooh.
Is that a Star
It's-
Wars game?
Nope, it's about a World War II, and there's lots of shoots, and the multiplayer is, I don't know, it's Battlefield multiplayer, but I bought it because it's on sale today, or yesterday when I bought it, and because the Battlefield Battle Royale mode
Mm-hmm.
releases tomorrow,
Ooh.
which for
Oh.
listeners will have been last Monday.
Are you going to get the chicken dinner?
I don't know. I'm excited to try it though. It certainly seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I could use a shake up. I've been playing PUBG a lot, but I'm kind of getting tired of it. And it's having a lot of like lag problems and not enough people, and I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I leveled up, or I guess that's how I'm gonna level up. Listeners, I'll probably be talking about this a lot on the Facebook group this week.
Matt, did you know that the Kids' Choice Award has a category for Best Gamer?
No, was the winner me?
No, but it should have been, right?
Yeah.
Probably
I think
not.
we should start a campaign now for one of us to become best gamer.
Well, since John's the only one that streams regularly, it's probably going to have to be John.
But like 5 people watch my stream.
You know what? 5 can turn into 10, and 10 can turn into 20, and 20 is probably about the top you can hope for, but 20 could win.
Hey guys, you ready to call our dads?
Yeah.
Yes.
I am ready to call my dad. It's time for the quest log. The quest log.
Call your dad.
I don't want to meet your daddy. I just want you in my caddy.
So
Just
when we
being honest.
when we
You're
left
just
off
being
last time,
honest.
we just beat Captain Strong, and that opened up the road to Tucson, which is spelled Twoson. Which
Guys,
is not.
I'm starting to see a pattern with the names of these towns.
Okay, tell me more.
I don't know. I've got the string connected to the bits of map on the that's on the corkboard on my wall. I'm still trying to figure out exactly
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
translate this, solve this puzzle, but
I didn't even get that until you just said something.
Jesus
So-
fucking Christ, Jim.
This is so I headed past the cops and then I think went through a little cave or something to get to Tucson. I don't know, but I fought a mushroom and it put a mushroom on my head.
Oh, that happened to me too.
And at first it was fine, but then it got incredibly bad.
It gets weird fast.
What
Uh-huh.
happened?
Yeah, what happens? This didn't happen to me.
Me neither.
Well, you go ahead.
All your walkie buttons get unwalkied and confused,
Mm-hmm.
but not
Did they go all
consistently.
backwards?
Well, yeah, it's sort of like that, but it's worse because it's not consistent. So
It's
sometimes
random.
they're all backwards. Sometimes you can't move forwards or like up or down at all. Sometimes the keypad just switches around entirely. Sometimes it's normal. It's very, very difficult. But
And- Oop.
there is a bright side. But John, do
Okay.
you want to talk about the downside a little bit first?
Yeah, because I didn't know where to go to get rid of this condition. Because I talked to the doctor, and he's like, there's nothing wrong with you. I talked to the nurse, and she's like, oh, there's nothing I can help you with.
Mm-hmm.
I went to talk to I slept at the hotel, and then it was still there.
Mm-hmm. Can't sleep
Uh,
off a mushroom.
No, that thing's growing out of my head like a limbo or an inside.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you figure out what to do?
I figured out what to do by checking with my good pal, the internet.
Ah, yes.
She used the power of Andraste.
And what you can do is go to this sort of new age healer fellow, and he will actually purchase the mushroom off the top of your head for 50 coins. Or dollars, I
Yay!
guess.
Yeah. And he's at the hotel, but he's not a licensed practitioner.
No, he's just like a new age kind of guru mushroom lover guy.
Mm-hmm.
This game does a lot of not telling you who you need to talk to and just kind of leaving you up to to talk to everybody that you see until someone tells you what to do.
Mm-hmm. Which
And
can
you
be
can go
difficult.
inside like 40 houses in every town. So this is kind of a problem.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people who are not helpful at all.
Yes.
So we move on to Twoson. Twoson. Twoson.
Tucson.
Twoson.
And this is kind of a bigger town than Onett, I guess. Maybe it's the same size. They have a big department store though, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, I did spend some time. I didn't go to the bakery because I find healing items aren't super useful because you can hold like 3 things.
Yeah, the inventory. That's actually what I'm squarely against this episode. Spoiler alert: is the limited inventory, because I found myself like not even able to receive key items.
Yeah.
I bought the for sale sign, and that quickly turned out to be a very useful item.
Right. And I also use the Escargot Express to get rid of stuff. But you have to be near a phone to use that.
Unless
Do
you
you
get
Also, it's weird and it takes a long time and it's annoying.
Right. But I
have,
did use
like-
that sign a lot.
I
Yeah.
don't understand.
What
Well,
is
it
the
doesn't
for
matter.
sale sign? I have not used that.
if you go to the market that's in the park in Tucson, you can buy a for sale sign from one of the vendors, and whenever you use it, somebody runs up to you and offers to buy stuff.
Yeah,
It's
so
pretty hilarious to use when you're like selling a croissant that you just got.
Mhm.
If
And
you
you're
can
on
use
top
it
of let's say a volcano, and somebody comes running up and pays you $7 for your $7 for this croissant, and then it's like, wow, this was really worth the trek, and then runs away.
Have you used the sign and then refused to sell them anything?
No,
Like
do they
cancel
get
it? They
mad?
get
Think
they
so.
get really pissed off and be like, I can't believe I came all the way here and you weren't even selling anything.
Yeah, the good thing is that you can use it literally anywhere. So far, I haven't had it say I can't use it, so I've been using it in like caves and dungeons, everywhere.
Yeah, golly, I gotta get me one of those.
It's real useful. I tried the bicycle, which is not useful because
Oh, you just rent it. It's like a chocobo, right?
yeah, except you can only use it. It's only one person per bicycle, so you only have one bicycle, so you can only do it if you don't have any other party members or if you don't have a teddy. Did you buy a sexy teddy?
Yeah, I love the teddy.
Yeah, I wore that teddy.
Mhm.
By wear it, I mean I let it stand in front of me and take hits from enemies instead
Yeah.
of me.
Take it, Teddy.
And it like follows behind you, but it's facing backwards.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you're dragging
It's like
it.
you're dragging a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Aww.
It's adorable.
And useful.
Mm-hmm.
So you wander around Tucson for a while talking to everybody. Like, how about we just go round table? Who was your favorite or strangest encounter in Tucson?
I think my favorites were Apple Kid and Orange Kid. One, because I don't understand. I mean, I get why they're named like that, but they're not. It's not a practical name for a human being. But Orange
No.
Kid is like he's Elizabeth Holmes,
Mm-hmm.
and is asking you to invest because he's an inventor. And if you give him money, all he does is give you this thing that plays a song and then immediately breaks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you can go talk to Apple Kid, who's like a legit inventor. And if you give him money, he gives you the portable receiver, right?
Well, he
A
doesn't.
mouse in his house gives you the portable
The mouse
receiver.
does.
That's right.
Did any of you I didn't have any item slots free, so I couldn't take. There's a house full of mice with a mom mice and then her sons, and you can take
Yes.
her sons,
I did
And
take
that-
one of her sons with me.
So did I.
and that thing will let you warp out of a dungeon, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is
He's
pretty
like an
handy.
exit mouse, is that right?
Yes.
Because that's one of the things. That's probably, spoiler alert, what I'm squarely against this week is the way this game keeps making me backtrack through dungeons.
That sucks.
You gotta use an exit mouse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm squarely against enemies that steal your MP.
It's
God!
Oh my gosh, that
against
happens
time.
constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't steal my pee-pee.
My favorite weirdos in Tucson are the weird band, the two guys hanging outside their van next to the Chaos Theater, and it is,
Oh, you mean
I
the
don't
Runaway
know.
Five?
yeah, the Runaway Five.
One of them seems very obsessed with young ladies, which sort of comes to a plot point later.
Yeah, I mean the plot kind of hinges on him being uncomfortably excited
say a
about
pervert.
seeing your young female party member.
No, not just her, but also
And the little girl that's backstage.
the groupie. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's some real what was that bad movie everyone liked? Almost Famous. Some real Almost Famous.
Oh, I
Anyway,
never
we're going to
saw
end up
that.
paying these guys $10,000 by the end of the episode, so stay tuned. So anyway, did anybody have an NPC they wanted to, John, Vanessa?
Exit mouse, mom.
Mm-hmm.
She's really eager to give away her sons, and her sons seem a little. One's jealous that it doesn't get to go with you.
I think more than Exit Mouse Mom, I liked the human who lives in the Exit Mouse house, and he explains that he lives there rent-free.
What about, now the character's name is Paula, but in my game her name is Nessa. What about Nessa's mom? Who is very much
and her
just
dad.
like, oh, my daughter's missing, no big deal.
Yeah, and Nessa, I would say, is like, what, 6 or something like that? Is she supposed to be older than
13?
that? Oh, is she?
I think
13,
she's your age.
really?
Well, no, isn't she your age?
My age? Do you think I'm
Well,
13, John?
The game character's age.
He thinks you're 13, and we've been doing this show for 3 years.
I know. Well, I guess because her mother runs a kindergarten, I assumed that she was kindergarten aged, but I suppose that she oughtn't to be, just because her mother is in early child development. Doesn't mean that she's an early child herself.
Yeah, the kids even talk about how she sort of teaches them, and they love her.
Yeah.
She is 11, according to the fandom wiki.
Okie dokes.
Huh.
Well, she
All right,
dresses
so
like
anyway,
she's 6.
Still too young to be perved on by the Runaway Five.
Oh, yeah, but we'll get back to that later. Ugh.
If you wander around the town for a while, everybody's talking about how Nessa is missing. And there's all
Yeah.
sorts of theories about where she's at. One of them is that Everdread, who is what is he, like a mob boss?
He's like some kind of criminal who lives in the park.
Yeah. And he sort of I took it that he kind of runs this park market in some way.
He seems to sit on top of his house all day,
Uh-huh.
and when he sees you, he jumps off of the top of his house and tackles you.
Yeah, because everyone who sees this child decides to beat the shit out of him.
And
is
not
weird,
because they
'cause-
dislike the child. They just want to prove a point.
Yeah.
It's weird
I
because
don't know
the
what that
child's got a
point is.
baseball bat and constantly proves the point back that child with baseball bat greater than adult,
I'd say even more intimidating than a child carrying a baseball bat is the fact that he has deadly psionic powers.
That's true. That psi-ass power is very strong.
But
I
they
liked-
don't know that when they decide to attack him.
That
I
is
mean-
also true.
Sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's like somebody who's less than half a block up the street and watches you blow one of their friends away and then
That's true.
comes running up to you and is like, hey.
So, Nessa / Paula's mom or dad is kind of nuts.
Can we
He's
just
the
agree
one
that her
who-
name is Nessa?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Nessa in my game.
Her dad, he's the one who assumes Everdread is the one that kidnapped her, and he's like running around the town constantly looking for her.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of reminds me of Dirk Benedict from the A-Team.
Oh, that's not a reference that I am familiar
He
with.
just looks like him. Apollo from the original Battlestar Galactica.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
I I mean, being 11, all of these references are just going to go right over my head.
He looks like a
True.
blonde guy with a blonde mustache, which is never a good look. And I feel like there was probably one of those in maybe like the Dukes of Hazzard. Like that's what he looks like to me. He looks like a Dukes of Hazzard character.
Yeah, it looks like his name should be Keith.
Yes. Or Dwayne.
He's got a strong chin. And so you can wander around. He's the game doesn't really tell you where to go. There is a hint house, which I didn't use.
I had to use it all the time, even though I also was using a guide because I'm not very smart.
There's a bus station where the bus driver's just hanging out and the buses aren't running.
Mm-hmm. I went all the way to the tunnel that goes to the next town, and there was a guy outside it, and he said, guess what? There's a whole bunch of ghosts in this tunnel. And I was like, heckin' nope, and turned right around and did not go in there.
I did the same thing, except I was like, well, so what? Like, I don't care. I can fight ghosts. And then I went in and it lost forested me, where it kicked me back to the beginning.
Oh, okay. I went through with the regular bus, and it just turned me around and went back because they got the ghosts lost forested the bus as well.
Oh, were they spooky?
Yeah, they looked like a Pac-Man ghost except white.
At least you knew it was a ghost.
You sure do. And so I went to the park. I bought that sign at the Berglund Park. Then I fought Everdread.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's what we were trying to talk about. Everdread, jump off his roof and kick you.
Why do he do it? We do not know.
Nope. Why everyone in this game seems super excited to fight kids.
Yep.
But quickly learns that baseball bat to face hurt, and he tells you, I did not kidnap Vanessa. Excuse me, it's not Vanessa. I did not kidnap Nessa. But what does he say? He tells you
saw
that
the
she
fat kid did it.
Oh, he tells on Porky?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does say the fat kid took him over to the cult, I guess.
Poke
Her
Oh,
over
you're
to
right.
the cult. And everyone does sort of mention that there's a cult outside of town called, was it Happy?
Happy Village.
Happy
Yeah.
Village.
Did you guys fight any of the unassuming adults in this town?
I did. And
Holy
the
cow.
hippie.
Yeah. I liked that.
What did the unassuming adults do?
They're just really... I don't... what is the game trying to imply by having these creepy-looking, unassuming adults try to, like, hurt you?
Well, that they're somehow mind possessed by the cult of the car painter.
Or is it Gigas?
Or the
I think it's
yeah.
Gigas. I think that people and animals are slowly being driven crazy
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see.
by Gigas.
When I was
Yeah.
playing... So, as we explained last episode, I'm totally cheating.
Mhm.
I have
Yeah.
infinite HP. So
Power of
when,
Andraste.
when I
Yeah.
got to Tucson, I bought the updated bat because you can buy an updated bat for Nest from the department store.
Mm-hmm.
And I went
The
to equip it.
Sandlot bat.
Yes. And I went to equip it, and I guess all I did was unequip the old one. And I got
Oh no.
And I got into a fight with an unassuming adult, and I didn't have a weapon equipped, so I just had to... I put it on auto battle, and then set it to like double speed, and just waited for the battle to be over. It took like 20 minutes on double speed for this battle
Why
to
didn't
be
you
over.
just use his psi power?
All the enemies had taken all my PP.
Oh no.
It took forever.
I do like, I see a lot of the ways that this game modernizes fantasy JRPG tropes in clever ways. And I like the unassuming adults and hippies, and I like how the random bad guys are, I don't know, normal
Do
things.
you
that
like
are
how
twisted. It's fun?
some fights have what sounds like tequila, except they change 3 notes? And then other fights have what sounds like Johnny Be Good, but they change 4 notes?
Well, I didn't notice that, but
Oh yeah, you're not playing with sound. In the end, you're sort of eventually railroaded to go through, is it the Monument Valley or something?
Is that what it's called? I thought it was. It's like
Sounds
I thought it
like
was
a
Peaceful
funeral.
Rest Valley.
Yeah, it sounded like a graveyard.
I thought
Peaceful
it was
Rest
like
Valley.
Pleasant Place Valley.
I think it's Peaceful Rest Valley.
And this is where you first encounter these walking green weeds that are the worst enemy in the game.
Why is that?
Because they steal your pee-pee. They just drain your pee-pee right out of you. And
Peaceful Rest Valley.
they also spawn other little pee-pee stealers. And they are just super annoying. Like, it's like the ants, where they can keep spawning more.
Yeah, that's really frustrating.
Yeah, there's a lot of weeds.
And you also have these UFOs that, like, aim right for you.
Yeah, they like rush you.
Mm-hmm. And they give you a cold.
Yeah, I got in the, what do they call it? Like the late night sniffles or
Yeah,
something like
late
that?
night stuffed up
Nighttime stuffiness or something like that.
Yeah.
There's little diamonds that fly around, and I'm not sure what they're supposed to be.
To be
Well,
honest,
that's-
nighttime stuffiness in real life sucks ass.
It
So
does.
Well,
That's true.
a pretty clever status effect.
It's definitely something that they used to say in, like, NyQuil commercials.
Yeah.
And the bridge is out, so you have to, like, take the long way. And you might notice right when you get to the other bridge that is being blocked by what looks like a metal pencil.
Yes.
It is a metal pencil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a giant like stone metal. I don't know if it's stone or metal, but it's a giant pencil.
Yeah,
giant
giant
sharpened
pencil,
pencil.
statue. Which I guess
so you
sort of represents the fears of children because a pencil is so associated with schoolwork or homework.
Ooh.
Particularly
bad.
those Scantron tests that you have to fill the little bubble in.
Oh, like the standardized tests.
Yeah.
So, I like that a lot of the little powers in this are a lot of fun. Have you guys gone into the menus and like read the help
Yes.
for all this stuff to see what it does?
Yeah.
Like the book, The Help?
No.
Well, it's like when we were playing Dragon Quest. Like it's hard to. It doesn't tell you what anything does unless you go into the item in your bag, and then you can click. You can select it, and one of the options is drop, use, give, and help will give you a little bit of information on it.
Ah, okay. I see.
So I like how they replaced a lot of like status effects with like silly modern status effects. But I really like, and you guys, we should also have started to notice this. The magic in this game it's like psychic powers instead of magic.
Yeah.
At least it is for this kid, for Ness. I don't know about the other characters yet. But I like the way the magic powers is you just get a power, whatever it should, like Psybolt, basically. And then you get upgrades to that. So it's like Psybolt Alpha, Psybolt Beta, Psybolt Gamma. And those are your like Aura, Aga, Ama.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cleverly done.
At least your first healing alpha will heal your stuffy nose, which is good. So I wandered here around for a while, couldn't figure out what to do. Enemies kept rushing me. So I went back to Twoson thinking maybe I could talk to the dumb inventors. And as soon as you leave the cave, you get a phone call from Apple Boy,
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Jobs. Or is he Steve Wozniak?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Orange Boy is supposed to be Jobs and Apple Boy is Wozniak.
That makes more sense.
Maybe Orange Boy is
Interesting,
supposed to be
interesting.
Gates. Did you buy the invention from Orange Boy?
I did.
mean,
I
is this
did
an
too.
American-made game? Like these jokes probably aren't American pop culture, right?
No, it's a well, what's his name?
John
Hiderashi
Romero.
Itoi is so. We should probably
David
actually
Cage.
talk about that. Let's sidebar for a second. This game was written by a novelist, a Japanese novelist who wrote many books, and he also does comedy and stuff. He's a famous guy. That's why he holds copyright separate from Nintendo on these games, which is one of the reasons that they take a while to get released because there's rights involved. Nintendo doesn't want to give other people money.
A while.
Well, yeah, like Mother 3 Still not out. EarthBound came out eventually in 2012.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
again.
they take a while to be released. I mean, I think that at this point, they just don't get released.
But they did release EarthBound 0 and EarthBound on Wii U, which is very surprising.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
everyone
right.
and on 2DS. So I still think Mother 3 will come out eventually somehow. It's just taking forever. Anyway,
Wasn't
so yeah,
there
this
a
was
fan-made version of the game that was like the entire game, but they, it wasn't officially sanctioned, and they made them take it down.
you can still find a translated version of this game.
Yeah, you can get a translated version.
Yeah, even you can even get a official Mother 3 cart and a Retron and the fan patch and play it without doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
Vanessa. So I recommend doing that.
Me too.
Also, but this was written by a comedian. He's not a game designer, and these games are sort of a nostalgic look back at his childhood. And that's sort of what they're with, like Americana thrown in and a mix of like Peanuts stuff. So they are a Dragon Quest take on a very smart writer looking back at his childhood.
Did he
I
get
like it.
beat up by adults a lot?
I don't know. Probably. He's like older. I think he's in his 70s or something.
I mean, if
60s or
you're trying
70s.
to ground it, what's like the most threatening thing around you is other adults, right?
That's true.
Robots.
Robots, spacemen,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
animals,
Anyway.
weeds.
So we go back out.
You
Get
go out of the
called by
cave and you get a
the
phone
mouse.
call.
From the mouse, everyone's favorite mouse.
And he said
And
Apple
he's-
Kid wants to talk to you, and he's in the park under the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So you go
Man.
talk to him, and he gives you like this magic magic pencil eraser.
It's real.
That has a very specific function, and it's only to like erase from existence pencil-shaped objects.
Yep, it's a pencil eraser.
Yep.
He suggests never using it at a store that sells pencils.
It's a pretty fantastic invention if you think about it. Like,
It
Mhm.
is.
it can remove from reality any pencil.
It's also very convenient considering the pencil-shaped object that is impeding your progress to Happy Happy Village.
So I guess this is a pun that works in English and in Japanese.
Yes.
The pencil eraser?
Yeah,
Oh,
because it's a good joke.
it is a good joke.
So you head back to the pencil and use your device and erase it.
Yeah, and then you can make your way to Happy Happy Village.
Happy Happy Village.
It's the pencil sort of just dissolves, and the game's like somehow weirdly the pencil shaped object near you fades out of existence.
Eliminating all pencils is the kind of mutant power I ponder when I think about useless mutant powers. And how in the world of the X-Men, there must be mutants out there that just, like, their powers suck, you know?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Isn't that like what was that movie Minutemen? No. Remember it had Ben Stiller and Janine Garofalo
oh, I
and they had
remember, and I know what
bad
it's called, but I
superpowers.
won't say.
Oh, that's what is
Miracle
that movie?
Men?
Mystery
No.
Men.
Oh, that's
Oh,
it.
you said it. Mystery Men doesn't need buzz marketing on this podcast.
Wasn't that one guy's power just farting?
Yes.
And also wasn't on the soundtrack of that film All Star, which had scenes from the movie in it. So
Hell
if you go
yeah,
back and
that
watch
game-
the video,
that song
Yes.
closed out that movie, man.
and 18 other movies afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you can think of a better song to put a cap on a zany adventure, I would like to hear the name of it.
Oh, guys, I have a funny story about that song that just happened to me recently.
Okay.
Let me
my
guess.
my
you saw
daughter's
Keanu
elementary school
Reeves and you
hosted
were like, oh, Keanu, listen to this.
my daughter's elementary school threw like an 80s dance for the kids, like an 80s themed dance. And so I went because I like just for the first hour. And when the dance started, they hired this like amateur DJ, and he turned the lights down and he's like, "Welcome to the 80s." And the first song that played was somebody once told me. And I was like, what is going on?
How old was this DJ? Like 17?
He wasn't that old. He's been in his 20s.
Well, if he's in his 20s, like he
But
could
like
be 20 now.
a bunch of 8-year-old, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids aren't gonna know.
That song came out in like 1998.
No, yeah, it's 99, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh man, do you guys remember being in the car with all your friends and Walking on the Sun would come on the radio and you just sing it at the top of your lungs
Yep.
and you all
Man, I
knew
hate that
all the
goddamn
words?
song.
It was so great.
I kick back,
Sit
switch
back
back,
and
and
watch
watch
the
the
world
world
get
get bushwhacked, and your something neighborhood is under attack.
Put
away the crack before the crack puts you away. You wanna be there when your baby's old enough to relay. So don't delay, act now. Supplies are running out.
All right,
And
well, I
now
think that's
you're
about as much as
still
we can
alive.
run before we have to start paying for it. So.
Oh wait! I have one more Smash Mouth story.
Okay.
When I was in like the 6th grade, we had to do this thing where we had to pick a pop culture or historical figure to learn a lot about,
This is my favorite Jim story.
And then we had to like pose as them, and other people could come and like a museum figure like ask us questions about it. And, I chose the lead singer from Smash Mouth.
Jesus Christ.
Did you have that little? Did you paint on that little line goatee?
I didn't, but when people asked me questions, I literally had nothing interesting to say.
Aww.
Like, other kids were like Abraham Lincoln, and I was Steve What's-His-Face from Smash Mouth.
Do you still remember any facts about him?
No, I don't. I just remember his first name was Steve.
Did you frost your tips?
Yeah. You gotta have those little spiky tips, too.
I mean, they could have already been frosted.
All right. So, yeah, you have to fight. Oh, yeah. The most interesting enemy here is one that you have to pay attention to when you're fighting, because it's a tree. It's a territorial oak that attacks you. And when this oak attacks you, it's not a hard fight, but
and please explain to me how this happens, because I have a lot of questions.
okay. But when you kill this tree, it explodes. It bursts into flames, killing you and anyone in your party unless you hammer A fast enough to survive.
That's not what tree do.
Well, trees also don't move.
That's not what tree do, though. That's not like a tree. It's alive. It moves. It just moves so slowly that we generally can't perceive it. But
Well, I wouldn't say a tree moves. It grows.
can't it move though? Like if it's leaning in one direction, then it can lean in another direction if it needs to survive. Can a tree do that? A flower
yes,
do that?
but it does it with growth, I thought. Like by
Well-
weighting down one side.
Growth is a sort of movement.
Yeah, I'll show you a sort of movement.
Oh, finally.
Ugh.
Sorry,
but also this
John.
tree has eyeballs.
It is. It's got like googly eyes. In the Wikipedia, or I guess like wiki, like fandom wiki entry for this tree, it says that the Japanese name translates to Big Woodo, which is pretty cool.
Why did they
name.
keep that?
I
So-
wish it was called Big Widow.
That's a way better name.
I love it
Chad
when you call
Mozart
me
was
Big
posting
Widow.
like enemies that kill you gifs or something, and he posted a gif of this tree and like the screen was shaking in the gif and everything was flashing red.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that there's like a lot of EarthBound memes about this tree just murdering you. Because we talked before about how if you win a fight before you die, even when you get a mortal wound, you'll survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this tree does so much just like hundreds of points of
Yeah.
damage that if you aren't paying attention, you will die. If you
Mhm.
don't advance to the next menu, you will die.
I didn't realize that's how I was surviving, because I kept seeing that it was doing like 314 points of damage, but then I'd be okay. So thank you for explaining this mechanism to me, John.
You know who
Yeah,
else explains that mechanism?
Who?
A friendly mole.
Oh.
Oh, he is very friendly. He's like the Teach Me Mogster of this game.
Yeah.
Way better than Teach Me Mogster. I did the same.
I don't know.
I was having the same problem with the combat, and I realized that because I was letting it auto battle for me most of the time, and I was speeding it up to move it along, that it was all moving too fast for me to catch the roll. So once I realized my mistake there, things got a lot easier.
Right. I guess auto battle's fine if you're just fighting annoying enemies you can kill easily, but
Yeah.
against these trees, it could be a problem.
So anyway, where were we? Where are we?
We're just getting to Happy Happy Village.
Happy Happy Village is Crazy Cuckoo Town, and the place seems to be run by a cult leader named Carpainter who wants to paint everything blue. And it really does, to me, feel like some adult being like, remember when I was a kid and I thought the car painter wanted to paint the whole town with his crazy car painting device.
It's weird.
It's hilarious.
I like that, like, even the cultists are obsessed with painting things. Like, they do, like, a paint attack on you.
And it does, like, no damage. You can actually, like, level up a lot here if you're not using the power of Andraste.
Did y'all see that cow?
Yes, the cow that is painted blue as well, and tells you, I'm just a normal cow, but I like the way this car painter guy talks.
Yeah, he's into it. Or she,
So how
I
many-
suppose.
Of you got Abu Dai in your
Oh.
head.
I did not.
That song because it reminds me of the beginning of Iron Man 3.
I have not seen Iron Man 3.
What? And you call yourself a
sorry.
Marvel fanboy.
I know.
Sorry.
He boycotted so hard against the feminine Naziization of Marvel movies with Captain Marvel, and he hasn't even seen Iron Man 3.
He probably heard
Should-
that
should
Pepper
I?
Potts has like a hero
No,
moment
it's not
in
great.
Iron Man 3. And
No,
he's
I
like,
love Pepper Potts.
I'm not gonna
her,
watch
her
that.
magazine is so good. It gives me great life tips.
Gloop. Gloop on me with your hot life tips. All right. So,
What?
what? This town is Crazy Pants, and I don't know if I just fucked up or what happened, but my town map wouldn't work in this town, so I didn't know what anything was, and I had to like go into every house. It was really annoying.
I never use
Yeah.
the town map. I love to explore and discover.
I always forget where everything is.
My fingers tap the buttons that don't do anything on the remote because they want to do something, anything, while I'm exploring. Like, I want to be able to touch the world around me, and it bugs me that I can't.
Oh,
At least in Zelda, you can, like, poke at the world with your sword.
it's sad for Matt that he does not have those virtual reality gloves that make you able to feel everything that you interact with in a digital
Yeah.
environment.
Ooh.
The EarthBound VR that they made for the Virtual Boy back in 1993.
Why don't we
Man,
have those yet? Why don't we have gloves that have little pins in them, and when you touch something in the digital world, the little pins activate
Inject
to
you
like
with drugs.
do the
I think
pressure.
you're talking about the Nintendo Power Glove.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The
No.
Nintendo Power Glove.
No, that thing was
I
terrible.
think she's talking about acupuncture.
I'm talking about, you know, those like things that you see in stores and they have a whole bunch of little pins and then you push your hand in it and then the impression of your hand is there?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
your
Children's
hand.
toy.
Yeah. But I want the opposite of that. So instead of you press your hand in, it press your hand, but it press it in like shape of a glass or
Why don't
shape
you
of
husky your voice up?
Hi.
Get some investors
guys.
and design it.
I have invented these gloves that work with any virtual reality goggles, and it allows the player to actually feel the tactile experience of what they're interacting with. So
When you started
If you
talking like that,
pick up a
suddenly it
clipboard in
feels
the
a lot more
world.
like
You pick up a clipboard and you can feel it in your hand. The
Well, how's it
possibilities
weight
are really
against your hand,
endless.
Vanessa?
It feels a
can't
lot
just
more
have
like
weight
we're
from
about
nowhere.
to step into like a Hellraiser situation.
When I was in like the Silicon Valley area last week, I learned about a lot of stupid technology, and like there are companies that have made. There's a company that has made like a rugby jersey that you can wear, and you can like sync it to your favorite player, so when they get tackled, it like vibrates and makes you feel tingly like they just got tackled. And like right before they're about to make like a big kick or whatever, it'll make you feel tingly like you're nervous.
That sounds like a great use of money.
Yep.
That's so pervy.
I know.
I can feel you being hit.
Oh my god, he must be nervous. I'm so tingly.
Why can't you just sync it to a porn star? That would make more sense.
Yeah, right?
Well, that's what I know, right? They need to make like, you know, like a bodysuit you can wear that syncs to your favorite.
Do they
porn
need
scene.
to do that?
They have
I don't know that
VR
we
porn
need
now.
to
That's
do
kind of a
that.
step in that direction.
Well, the glove will allow you to feel the weight of the person that you're interacting with in the digital environment in your hand.
With just a single drop of cum, you can.
Whoa! All right, that's hard R square roots. Let's move on. So I guess we. So did you explore? Did you talk to people in this town? The guy lets you stay at the hotel if you say that you're there because you're really curious about the good news of Mr. Carpenter.
Mhm. There's
The
also
happy
someone who
cult.
asks you for a donation of money, and I said no, and she said, okay, then I'll be your shadow. And she just started following me around the town.
Yeah.
What? That didn't happen to me.
No?
I must
You
not
must
talk
have
to her.
donated like a sucker.
Sucker.
Oh, you're right. Yes, I gave her like $90 or something.
$90. I gave her $7.
Oh.
And
I
I
gave
have
her
unlimited money.
$1 and she gave me a postcard.
Yeah, I got a postcard too, and I looked at the postcard, and the description was, "This postcard kind of sucks," or something like that. I
Mine
used
said
it, and I
something
felt
like,
sad.
You feel bad about yourself.
Yep. Same here.
My favorite part of this town is how they make no attempt to hide the fact that they've kidnapped a young girl and are keeping her locked in a cage.
Oh, yeah, they talk about it a lot. They talk about
Yeah.
how she's going to be the high priestess.
So there's a boy with a little shy guy mask. And you see this guy around, and I guess he's friends with Pokey,
Mm-hmm.
because he tells you right away, like, "Oh yeah, Pokey and I kidnapped that girl for Mr. Carpenter," and if you talk to someone else, he's like, "Yeah, Carpenter did kidnap that girl, but it's not for anything weird. It's because he wants her to be her high priestess."
That's pretty weird.
Well, the game does let you know it's not because he wants to fuck her.
Well, that's
The
good.
game just it establishes that.
Yeah, it's important to establish that.
I mean, when she's high priestess, it's fine.
Yeah. then
No,
it's-
she's 11.
Well, then you can marry her off. Yeah, that's the plan. I
Well,
think.
John, they have their own rules, okay?
Yeah. The goddess.
Who are you to
enters
say it's
her,
wrong if it's their religion?
And the goddess is immortal. This is terrible. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And the goddess was like, "If
No! Cut that out.
This is
Cut
some
that
real-
out. Cut that out. Cut that out.
Wow, yeah. Well, that's Matt. Matt, it's up to Matt to cut that
Cut
out.
that out.
Whoa. So we can go speak to, I call her Blep.
Uh-huh.
And she's in the cage to the north of the village. And
I went to the
she
other
says-
cave first.
Yeah, there's a short cave, I guess.
The pygmy
right?
steps? Is that what you're talking about?
I went to the cave that was full of bears and moles.
Yeah, that's the pygmy
and
steps.
bats.
Oh, that's the one to the east. The one to the north is where Blep is.
Yeah.
If you go through there, there's like a cabin that's in the middle of this like clearing, and you go in the cabin, and she's in there, and she's like, "Oh, you're fart. I'm the one you're the one that has been talking to me in your dreams. You need to defeat Carpenter to get me out of here. Here, take this Franklin badge." And it will protect you from his power or whatever.
what's the
I-
Franklin badge?"
It
It's like
absorbs
the
and reflects
electricity
lightning.
badge. Yeah.
Yeah, I know
So-
what it does, but like,
Well, that's how Ben Franklin was able to fly his kite without
Vanessa
becoming electrocuted.
got it. Got it in one, Vanessa.
You're so smart.
Well, thank you.
No.
I'm the smart one, as Matt established in our Facebook group.
Right.
That's right.
Mhm.
And
So
John's people.
I did this all wrong. I went and like talked to Carpenter first, and he zapped me with lightning, and then I appeared in the village again
No.
after going through that gauntlet of his
Yeah,
supporters.
that gauntlet is terrible.
There's so many of them.
And then I went to the wrong cave, and this cave was full of hard enemies, but I'd over leveled so I could still kill them. And I almost killed the mole boss, the mighty mole, but I died because I was out of PP because those stupid weeds took it all. Hate
Jim, did
those
you have a
weeds.
tough time with Monster Mole?
Well, we do that later.
I mean, tough time in the sense that like it took me a long time to defeat him because when I first started, I put in a code to like make the first bat really powerful, but then when I got the second bat, it's just a regular bat. So it just takes me a while. I mean, it's more of an inconvenience than it is hard.
Right. So after you get this Franklin badge, you go to Carpenter, and he asks you in like classic Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy style, do you want to join me and be my right-hand man?
Did anybody say yes?
Yes, I did. But I didn't have the Franklin badge, so he zapped me over. So he said it was
no,
a trick.
And I got zapped, but it was fine.
Right. He can't believe that you somehow bypass his magic, and he attacks you with his fists because you are a child, and children are the target in this game.
He does keep trying to zap you as well, and every time he does, the lightning reflects back and hits him.
Ooh, that's neat.
You can use it. I guess that this comes back later because you can use this item later.
I think I put it in storage.
Yeah, but unless you get lightning attacking enemies, it's not a big deal. So I defeated him. I blasted him like twice with my magic, and he died.
He doesn't
Well, he didn't
die.
die.
He becomes normal again, and he explains that the statue behind him is what caused him to behave abnormally. It brought to
And now I've
mind
seen-
the statue that was in the basement of that man's house.
I think it might be that statue,
Oh.
the gold Manny statue.
Mhm.
Because Everdread tells you a little bit more about it later.
Oh.
I don't know if it's the same one or if there's many like it. What do you think?
I didn't notice this really.
I guess the only way to know for sure would be to go back to one town and back into that deep, deep hole in the basement. And I don't want to go there.
You could.
Sure, I could, unless Matt's theory about the town disappearing is true.
Do you think we're ever going to get like a fast travel, or is this game too old for even that modern convenience?
I think you do.
I hope so.
Eventually.
So you beat Carpenter and you get the key, and then you have to go all the way back through
Those crows around her house, her shack, steal
Yeah.
your items. It stole my Psy Caramel, and I was so mad.
Oh no, not me.
and then you go free her, and she joins your party, and she starts at level 1.
Ooh, it's a Dragon Quest game. Yeah, she starts with like 20 hit points. It gets tricky.
And 0 equipment. She does not have a thing on her.
No.
Yeah.
So,
But fortunately, there's a drugstore in the town that has a frying pan because she's a girl, I guess, and that's what she uses. And a ribbon for her hair. Yeah, a copper bracelet, which I wear too.
So I got confused here. You have to give them the item and then have them equip it, right? You can't have it in Nessa's inventory and then equip
Yes,
it if it's
you're
in Nessa's
correct.
inventory. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, well-
that's just like Dragon Quest was like. I mean, this game
Yep.
really is a straight copy of that.
Reskin.
Yeah, of that style. Kind of painfully so in a lot of ways. Though even in some ways, it manages to convenience that menu system up, which is interesting.
The only thing it doesn't have that Dragon Quest has, except I guess you can find exit mice, is Dragon Quest is just full of items that teleport you and get you out of dungeons, and this game is pretty stingy with those so far.
Mm-hmm.
So she joins you and she says she was faded. Nessa gets a little creepy here / Paula. She's like, yeah, you're just like I pictured you, and my mom says we're gonna spend the rest of our lives together.
What?
Whoa.
I say that to all the guys I meet. Is that wrong?
No, that's normal.
Okay.
That's true. When we first auditioned Vanessa for this podcast, she was one of many people that came in that day, and she came in and said to us, Vanessa, remind me exactly how you phrased it.
My mom says that we're going to spend our lives together, and you're exactly as I pictured you.
Yeah, and so we just knew. That's how we knew. John, Jim, and I got down on one knee and said, Vanessa, won't you move into our Square Roots house that we all share together?
Mm-hmm. Will you be a podcast host?
The origin of this podcast is a lot like the show New Girl, I guess.
I haven't seen that show.
I'm
Wouldn't that be great if we were all characters in a wacky fish out of water sitcom?
I thought it would be like a reverse Big Love, where Vanessa just has 3 husbands.
That's my dream, and I'll tell you
We are-
why.
Brother husbands.
I would like a husband who can go off and do things with each other and not expect me to go along to like their dumb concert or bar or wherever the heck they want to go. So if I had 3 of them, not only could they split the chores and get a lot more done around the house, but they could, entertain themselves and talk amongst themselves while I play video games. And then when I was desirous of one of theirs company, I would invite him to the wing of the house that I keep to myself to visit me in my chambre.
This is super detailed. Like, it sounds like you're reading from a notebook.
It's like Frida Kahlo's life.
Yeah, I'm reading from my vision board, which is up on the wall.
The triple husband house. I don't hate the sound of this either, because it sounds like it leaves me with a lot of time to just go off and drink.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, you're going to live in the basement in the dark, and you're just going to drink down there.
Hey, now. Oh, hold on.
That's right.
Do we have to call each other brother Matthew,
Yeah.
brother Jim?
Yep, John will live on the main floor because he likes to access the kitchen and amenities. I'll live on the second floor where my chambre is, and Jim will live in the attic.
I'll live in the shed out back.
Yeah. The gym shed. I
Is it a cool basement at least? Ugh, I don't like this.
I hate to break it to you guys, but according to my vision board, my brother-husband roles are already taken by the Hollywood Chris's. So,
What about Steve Valentine?
what about Steve Valentine?
He's
He's
not
a
good
side
enough to
piece,
be a.
John. He's not brother husband
He's
material.
not brother-husband material. You think I'm going to marry a magician?
So, is this when you
You
guys
did
went
say
and fought
you're
the mole
repulsed.
boss?
Oh, right.
I
the
think
mole
last
boss.
episode you revealed that you're repulsed by close-up magic, right?
I'm not repulsed by close-up magic. I just think there's a time and a place for it.
Okay.
In fact, I quite like it.
He's going to contact juggle the ball that he has your ring in, and then it'll just do the
Oh,
contact
God,
juggling
no. No. Ugh.
Willeth you
Look, if he can step up with, like, some
give
gloves
me your
on.
hand in marriage? And he's juggling,
No.
and the ring is inside one of them, and then they all explode, and doves come out, and he pulls
No.
the ring out from behind
No.
your ear, and then he eats it.
Ugh.
Then it appears in his other hand.
No, thank you. Look,
There's a flash of smoke, and then it's on your finger. And
no.
did you ever say yes or no? It doesn't matter. The camera cuts at that point.
You bring me some gloves on Cardini type skills, and then we can talk. But until then,
What about-
no, thank you.
Raul
What
Esparza.
about Raul Esparza?
Is he brother husband material?
Raul Esparza is so beyond brother husband material, there aren't even words to describe the holiness of our matrimony. And by matrimony,
Jim, who's on your
I
vision
mean...
board for Sister Wives? Is Tifa on there?
Who?
Tifa?
Tifa?
Tifa? Oh,
Tifa.
wow. I can't wait till we get to Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Tifa?
It's not Tifa,
Tifa
like Tiffany?
and Claude. Tifa and Claude.
There's Barrett.
Yeah.
Barrett. Claude.
God.
Zake.
Side.
Anyway, is this when you guys fought the mole boss?
Yeah.
Ready.
And he's an optional boss.
Is he? It's a
Yeah,
sanctuary, isn't it?
You
Yeah.
have to get the sanctuaries at the end of the game.
Oh,
But-
really? So you can
yeah.
just fight him later?
Yeah, you can fight him later if you don't want to fight him now. But I just fought him
Oh.
now.
Yeah,
'cause
me too. I was right
already
there. Why not?
Yeah. Might as well.
Plus, I think we agreed to do it.
I think I agree. Yep. I think I agreed to that. Yep.
And then we head back to Twoson, and I guess this is probably we all went back to the preschool to see Vanessa's mother and father,
Yeah,
and
this
got
was
the
weird.
tearful goodbye from the father. The mother was like, "Well, figured you'd be gone one day, so bye."
Yep,
Yeah,
you're
the
11.
father's-
Time to move out on your own.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
The dad's like, sorry for blaming Everdred. Turns out he was a nice guy. I misjudged him. You were kidnapped by a fat kid and a kid in a shy guy mask.
By a cult.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you go back to, or once you return to Happy Town, all the blue is gone. Did we mention that?
No.
Oh,
I
yeah.
went back.
And as soon as you defeat Carpainter, and he's really sorry for being messed around with by the statue, the whole cult just left. Like, there's 3 people left, and they're like, should I leave?
Mhm.
Yeah, and everybody in town is very apologetic all of a
Yep,
sudden.
yep,
They're all
yep.
like, we're really sorry about that.
The cow is
Yeah.
no
So
longer
anyway-
blue.
Yeah.
Dad, does anybody have anything to add about the tearful goodbye from Nessa's dad?
No.
I liked this scene. I like going back to the preschool. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. I like how excited the dad was. He was pretty giddy. He was
Yeah.
sad, but he's very excited.
That his daughter has psionic powers and is going to save the world. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
So you would think that's it, but it's not, unfortunately.
There's
we
still
go,
just a little bit left.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
First, you have to go talk to Everdred again. So as soon
And
as you
he's-
leave the house, I think somebody ambushes you and is like, "Go talk to Everdred."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, he has this weird thing where he wants to trust you, so he gives you a wad of bills.
He gives you like
And you can't say no.
$10,000.
Yeah.
It's $10,000. Yeah, exactly
And-
$10,000.
He gives you $10,000, except it goes into your inventory as a wad of bills.
Yes,
I
Yeah.
love that.
I went
so
to the
much.
ATM and tried to put it in there, but I
Me
could
too.
not do
Yeah.
it.
I like the fact that like it's. I like to think that it's just called wad of bills because Ness can't count that high because it's too young. But you
and
go.
then-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, so he gives you $10,000, and then the thing that's stopping you now, during Nessa's father's goodbye, Nessa mentions that we're going to Three-Way next, or whatever the next
Threed.
town is called.
3.
Three.
Yeah, I guess Nessa / Paula had visions of going there. She seems
Yep.
to know what's going to happen. She's like, we're going to meet new friends.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
She says that we're going to get a new party member, and that their power combined with ours will make us unstoppable.
Mhm.
But you have to pass through the haunted tunnel,
No,
and to do that,
it's too scary.
you have to go meet my favorite characters in the game, the Runaway Five.
Oh, you mean the Blues Brothers?
So, along with 311 and with what's his name, the Remedy guy, Jason Mraz, I think one thing that really shows you are a heterosexual man with boring taste is being obsessed with the freaking Blues Brothers. I don't get it. That movie was agony trying to watch that. Ugh,
I don't think I know
garbage
anybody
film.
that gives even the slightest of shits about that movie.
Why do people like
What
it?
about Blues
Jim.
Brothers 2000?
I skipped
That movie
one.
is fucking shit.
What about regular Blues Brothers?
Yeah, Jim.
I think it's. I don't
Uh-oh.
love it, but I think it's fine.
What is it like? It's just nonsense. It's garbage.
It is
It's
nonsense.
unlikable
The
characters.
thing I like about it is when they crash all those cars. I think the crashing of the cars is neat.
Anyway, so you've got
I got something
Nessa
to
in
say.
your party now. Sorry.
Can we talk about the guy in the top hat who comes spinning down from the sky to take your picture?
What's up with that?
Yeah, what's up with
that? The impresario
annoying.
guy.
Yeah. It's like you're playing the game and then suddenly you can't move and down from the sky, like he spins, like he's doing a 360 spin, comes down from the sky and shouts, "Pictures taken instantly," and talks about how great it's going to be to have your picture taken, takes your picture, and then spins away back into the sky.
Mm-hmm.
What's up
I
with
don't see the
that?
problem. What, you don't have a spinning impresario man who takes pictures of your life?
I don't think so. I hope not.
You do, right, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, he only shows up when I'm in the shower, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And he just appears in the window of Jim's apartment bathroom.
He
Say
never announces
Fuzzy
himself. I
Pickles.
just see him there.
Takes a picture of you, makes you say Fuzzy Pickles and give that like peace sign.
Yeah,
You know, saying Fuzzy Pickles in the shower has a whole new connotation.
it does.
Mm-hmm,
It's even better.
So everyone in this town is obsessed with the Runaway Five, the dollar store Blues Brothers.
But you can't get into the show because it's sold out.
Yeah, but if
But
you
they're
talk
still
to the
hanging
band-
around out front. No, who is? Yeah, they're still hanging around out front by their van.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
smoking by
apparently
their van.
Their
That seems
bus is
accurate.
broken down, and they're being like, is it like blackmailed by the owner of the Chaos Theater to like
Yes.
pay this $10,000 or they can't leave?
I assume that Elwood has some like gambling debts or something, and that's why he's stuck there. Or maybe
He's
to
got
fix
proof of
the
all
cop-
those kids they've been taken to the dressing room.
What is the boss's
Oh.
name? It's like their manager is like Pillow Flopper or something.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Poochie Fud.
Oh,
Thug.
right.
Poochie Fud. Poochifud. Poochie Fud, the manager.
Mm-hmm. So now one of the guys said before, "Hey, if you ever rescue that Paula girl, come bring her by. I want to meet her."
Mhm.
And so you do.
Yeah.
And he's real happy to see her. He's like, "Wow, you're Paula. I've heard so much about you. You're amazing. Here's a backstage pass. Come hang out with me later."
You know, he's just trying to do his civic duty. You know, when you have like kids, they do well in school, and you know, you offer them like a personal pan pizza for reading books or backstage passes for solving a cult problem, kind of. You know, that's
Or
just
just-
what you do.
That's not what you should do.
That would be great if like Book It tokens were part of this game.
They get some pizza points.
I just want my X-Men animated series tape.
I'm a summer reading star.
Yeah, and you could go to the Pizza Hut and get your Tony Hawk's Pro Skater demo disc and play it 9,000 times at your house.
I did that too, except for I got it out of like a magazine.
I think I was like 20 when that game came out.
I played that first level so many fucking times.
Oh, me too. And listen to that Goldfinger song
Ah, so
millions
good.
of times.
Goldfinger.
He's the man.
I don't think I actually played Tony Hawk until Tony
I
Hawk
just
2.
touch.
Yeah,
And I only
I
played the demo for one.
Touch.
Such.
Anyway,
a
so you get a backstage
Goldfinger.
pass from the Runaway Five. You go into the show. There's a bit of back and forth. Doesn't even want to describe what happens here. You go in, you get let backstage. Some girl asks to come with you.
Yeah, this young girl really wants to go backstage and meet the guys. And I'm uncomfortable with this whole line of the game.
Well, let's say that she's definitely at least an
20.
adult woman. For
Yeah,
sure.
she's a 20-year-old.
So she goes back with you to meet the Blues Brothers, and then I don't know. You talk to them, and then you I had to leave and watch them play, and then go back in and talk to them, and there's a bunch of back and forth.
Well, I talked to all of them, and they I showed one of them my wad of cash, and he's like, "That's a lot of money. I need $10,000 to pay off my debt, and that's a big wad of cash. But you can't give it to them."
We all watched the Blues Brothers concert, I suppose.
GoldenEye.
What did you think? Is this the Dragon Quest knockoff answer to the opera scene?
Maybe, but it was a poor answer.
Mm-hmm.
I was bored.
It's just a bunch of the sprites just walk up and down the stage and spin around, much like the Blues Brothers do in a very boring way.
I did notice there were 6 people on stage, but apparently one of them is the MC from the Chaos Theater.
Oh, okay.
Why would the
'Cause I was
MC
like-
be on there the whole time? That's ridiculous.
He forgot to leave.
What a terrible show.
Yeah, not a good
Yeah.
show.
Forgot to leave.
So once they're done playing, you can go back in and talk to them, and they tell you that the manager is looking for you. This was all real confusing for me. He goes, "The manager's looking for you," and I'm like, "Okay." I go talk to the manager. The manager's like, "They sure owe me a lot of money," and I'm like, "I'm 13."
I like the fact that the band members are resigned to just keep playing the same show over and over until they're dead.
Yeah.
They're like, I guess we're slaves now.
Yeah.
And you could show him the wad of cash, and if you're across the desk, he makes you come closer. You have to
Weird.
go around to the side of the desk.
And then he's like, "Zowie, well, if you want to give me that, that's going to pay off all their debts, and they're free to go."
And then I guess the band is listening outside because they run in and we're like, "Yay, we're free."
This 13-year-old
One by
kid
one.
had $10,000 on him and just handed it over.
Each band member comes by, thanks you, and leaves. And one of them mentions, "Hey, don't worry about the ghosts, because our van is so loud it scares away ghosts." So Vanessa,
Yes.
get a loud van.
I already have one. It's Matt.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey.
Oh!
It's me. So
We get in the band with the grown men
Van.
who like to do Blues Brothers cosplay and accept $10,000 from children and take minors back to their dressing room. And we let them drive us to the next town over, which is Threed.
and that's it. We did it.
Yeah.
Where are we playing to
Yeah.
next time, friends?
I was
I'm
thinking
assuming Ford.
I was thinking a little bit of a longer chunker.
Oh.
And yeah, it's to get to Ford. So when you get a little bit before Ford, because there's Threed there's a couple of zones in between. So when you get to the Dusty Desert, you'll be done this chunker.
All right. We will be playing to our arrival in the Dusty Desert.
Yeah.
Woohoo. Hey, guys, what are you squarely against this episode? I'll start. I'm squarely against the limited inventory space because I was constantly leaving things behind and not having enough space for my key items. And it is a bummer.
I'm squarely against whatever I said earlier in the episode. I've definitely forgotten by now.
Habeas corpus?
Probably.
Okay.
John, what about you?
I'm squarely against having enemies that steal your MP so you can't heal, but also you
PP.
don't have enough. PP, and suck your PP dry, but you don't have healing items because you don't have enough space for your healing items because of the dumb inventory management.
You shamed me for making a joke about using one drop of cum for my technology, and you just talked about enemies sucking your little boy character's pee-pee.
What? I meant PP like urine.
It's a double entendre, John.
Oh, I guess it's a triple entendre. Because I was thinking like drinking your pee. I think you are taking it a way grosser way than the gross way I already meant it.
Vanessa,
How's
what are you
Vanessa
squarely
doing?
against?
Against whatever this is, my delicate ears.
Sorry, Vanessa.
I'm such an innocent soul, John. And these words and phrases, they just go right into my little ear holes. I got my podcasting headphones on, and I just have to take comfort in my vision board.
And your weird brother husband.
My weird brother
Set up.
husband.
All named Chris.
Yes.
Well, I can't help that. That's just what their names happen to be.
All right. Well, once again, no mini games. I don't think there's any mini games in EarthBound.
Well, it looks like we've got one letter that we're going to read.
So here's our first email. It begins, "Greetings. I am the patron formerly known as Stop Reading Everyone's Name. I wanted to assure you that this was meant ironically, at least 90% anyway. I can't deny that 10% of me was saying it in a passive-aggressive, say what I really mean by joking kind of way. Anyway, the point is that I did not intend my name to cause any strife. What I
Cloud
liked was the
strife.
multiple layers of irony. There was irony in having a name read that said not to read it. That much seemed to cause at least Jim and John to chuckle. However, unbeknownst to you guys, I experienced more layers of irony as I suddenly began to eagerly await my name, stop saying everyone's name being read. I was alarmed when Matt and Vanessa seemed to take my name seriously the next episode. I have changed it in a passive-aggressive slight towards Matt. I hope Jim, John, and Vanessa approve. Thanks. Fine. Keep saying everyone's name. At least it annoys Matt."
I could
Thanks
not
for your
approve
letter, bud.
more.
All right, everybody. Now is the point in the show when we read off our list of glorious patrons. If you would like your name added to the list, or you want to take part in any of the sweet bonus stuff that we put out on our Patreon, you can sign up at patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. We do lots of cool stuff like instant classics and whatever we feel like doing, really. You can vote on future games or stuff for Square Roots Versus.
So next episode, we'll have a level up where we review Captain Marvel.
If you haven't seen it, go see it, unless you're boycotting it, in which case, reconsider some of your choices.
We'll just combine those into one episode. We'll rank and do Captain Marvel.
See, now that the high of
Yeah.
Captain Marvel has worn off, I'm less interested in actually doing a podcast about it and regret suggesting it in the first place.
All right, everybody. I'm going to kick off the names with Race Jenkins, James Hostetler, Tyler Petty, Crystal Thamrin, Kevin Mosser, Wonder Swan, James Plett, Ross Hartley, You're Tearing Me Apart, Vanessa's Mom, Aaron Bachman, Julian Titus, Andy Best, Zachary Davis, Ryan Miller, Brody Toy, Dr. Steve Stone, George Armbruster, and Stu Skeel.
Also, Andrew Buggle, Naughty Zauze. What? Vanessa's
Noddle
Mom
Zaus.
for Real. Miguel
Noddle
Torres.
Zaus.
Owen Marble. Andrew Granieri. G. Bailey. Xavier Krieger. Chris Pignac. Tom Gregory. Randy Pierce. Bree Girth. Jonathan Lee. Personal. Oh, no, it says
Persona.
Persona. Whatever. It's far away. And my contacts are dry. Brady A. Berman, Joseph A. Rogers, Rusty Kamada, Justin Ham, Jonathan Ellsworth, Justin Benoit, Jared Collins, and Ashley T.
Pad Kid poured curd, pulled cod. Oh, almost got it. Tracy Tanoff, T. Bumpkins, Florian Jonas Kramer, Devin Sloan, Vanessa's Om Nom
Oh,
Nom
my.
Nom. Om Nom Nom Mom. Cameron Show, Megan Sullivan, Benjamin Avner, Robert M. Pullum, Brian Stone, Matt said to change this to You Guys Should Start a Wheel of Time pod, David Shook, Robert T., Brian Pitt, Kyle, Eric Garby.
Nathan Poirot, Ward Childress tickles the fancy of PK Fire. Patrick W. Bears, PJ Ennis has a big ol' crush on Jason. Label Sack, Xenogears was robbed. Sean Walsh, Bobby Bidgift, Samu Mitchell, Julia Zanella, Huxley Iguana, Jake Fussy Pickles Dickerson, who plays dead, Cyril the Wolf, Matt Jorgensen. Fine, say everyone's name. At least it annoys Matt.
Noted letter writer.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that's it for this week's episode of Square Roots. As always, we love hearing from you. You can email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us on our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod. Thanks go to Extra Lives for their ska cover of Battle Against a Mobile Opponent. Check Extra Lives out at youtube.com/extralivesmusic. Also, big thanks to Stephen Morris for his cover of Summers. This and a ton of other VGM covers are available on Stephen Morris' Spotify, iTunes, and more. Links for both are in the show notes.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. I'd like that. Or tell your friends, your nerdy friends, your cool friends, or your super rich friends.
And don't forget to vote for us in next year's Kids' Choice Awards for Best Gamer.
Yay!
All right, everybody, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm John Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Hey, gang, did we lose a Jim?
Well, he is sitting there. Oh, that's a photo.
Yeah, that's just a picture of Jim dressed in a suit, which he does not wear to podcast.
Oh. He should. We all should.
I'm
We take it
wearing
more
a suit.
seriously. Oh.
I'm wearing a three-piece suit, as a matter of fact, because
Ooh.
I don't go out without my waistcoat.
Ah.
I'm wearing nothing at all.
Yeah, we
we've-
can see.
We've been wanting to talk to you about that.
Mhm.
That's right.
Keep it up, Matthew. It's great.
Thanks, John.
No problem.
Hello, Jim.